Hey guys, I want to show you how we make our Nana's pizza. It's our signature pizza. Let me just tell you a little bit of the history and background of this pie. When I was a little kid, I used to watch my grandma, my Nana, make pizza at home. She used to make sort of a big pan pizza, thicker, lots of oil and stuff at the bottom. It's called sort of a Sicilian pie or maybe a grandma style pizza is what it's called today. And it was just amazing. And she made this sauce for it that I still remember and I still use. So this pie isn't like hers because it doesn't go in a pan with oil, but the sauce is like hers, so I named it after her. It's just a great pie. It's our #1 selling pie, and it's sort of everything I've ever learned about a pizza put into one pie. Now, the first pie that we showed you was the Margherita di Bufala. That was sort of classically Italian. The cheese came from Italy. It was the cheese that's made with the water buffalo milk. The basil is a very Italian accent that goes on that pie. This pie is much more of a New York style, almost more of a Brooklyn style pizza. So when the pizza came from Italy to New York, they changed a few things up. And for example, they stopped using the cheese made with the water buffalo, and they started using the cheese made with the cow's milk, called fior di latte, the flour of the milk. So this is regular cow's milk cheese. And some of the other ingredients changed as well. The basil came off for the most part, and people started using oregano. And we actually adding another ingredient that's not seen on very many New York pizzerias, parsley, but it adds a great, great flavor to this. But everything changed up just a little bit, and we're going to show you what more of a New York style as opposed to an Italian style pizza looks like. So let's get started. I've stretched out a dough here, and I'm going to add my sauce. And you can see I have 2 spoons in here. A little inconvenient, but you're going to see why in just a second. So I'm just adding a small amount of sauce at the bottom. The key to this pie, really, the logic behind this pie is that it really should just have a wide variety of textures and flavors. Every bite should be a little different than every other bite. You can see I didn't put the sauce on evenly. I'm not going to put anything evenly on this pizza. Putting oregano leaves on. Now this oregano is really special. This oregano we grow ourselves and we dry it ourselves, and it's probably better than any commercially available oregano. And we've tried 49 different commercially available oreganos, and this is the best one. I'm going to grab a few a few parsley leaves off of our little pan here, and this is just a pan of that has some water in it. Okay, just again sort of a random assortment of herbs. Now I'm going to put my hard cheeses on there. I'm putting 2 kinds. I'm putting Romano, which is a sheep's milk cheese, and I'm putting Parmesan. Again, nothing here is even. Nothing is even. It's all a little uneven. Nothing is exactly the same. Now I'm going to take black pepper. A couple black pepper spots there. More on one side than the other. Perfect. Now I'm going to take my mozzarella cheese. We buy the cheese in these little balls just because it's so easy to portion out. You can look at the weight sheets and you'll get a sense of how many balls you have to put on a pie. This way you don't have to measure each one. You can just pull out the right number of balls. You can see I'm pinching them. They're really round, and the round balls can sort of get, when I shake the peel off and get in the oven, you can see how they wobble. They might roll off if I don't give them a little pinch first. I like to do that. Also helps them to spread out just a little bit. And now just a little dollop of olive oil, and that's it. One little bit. Mostly I keep things out of the center of the pie. Now I'm going to show you why I was using that separate spoon here. What I'm going to do is I now have a sauce at the bottom of this that has a lot of herbs and spices on it. But just to create another dimension of flavor, I want some sauce on that has no spices at all. That's just pure tomato, just an expression of that pure tomato flavor. So I'm using this flat spoon because I can't use the back of the spoon to spread it around. This flat spoon helps me sort of layer it on here a little bit smoother. I definitely want to get a couple of these mozzarella balls completely covered with the cheese. With this sauce. And you see what I'm doing? I'm just sort of dolloping on like that. And that's it. Okay? That spoon helps me do that a little better. So I'm going to give it a little stretch now. Give it a shake. Make sure that it's good. And I'm going to go over to the oven and I'm going to blow underneath it. Just to make sure that it's not stuck. Okay, and getting out the little air bubbles that I created. Now it's going right into the center of the oven. That's going to be a great pizza, guys. We'll see you in a few minutes. I've got my Nana's pizza in the oven. You can see I made a minor adjustment to the temperature here. I put it at 9 and 1 versus 8 and 2. That's just because of my oven's a little out of balance. I've been haven't been using it that much. I haven't had the chance to have the pies create the balance for me. Looking underneath it now, you can see. Now, actually, the top is cooking slightly faster than the bottom. Not much, just a little bit. I'm going to take the pie and I'm going to put it in the back. That back is super hot because it rarely gets pies on it because I can't really get my spray bottle on it. So I don't want that pie to sit on there very long at all, like 4 or 5 seconds. And then it's going to come off. Probably should have done that just slightly earlier than I did it because we always want to make any temperature adjustment we can as soon as possible. That's just going to help the pies cook. The peak of perfection. But we should be done now. Let's go ahead and get this out. Okay, now take a look at that pie. Now let me tell you what I'm seeing here. Can you see how there's sections of sauce that don't have any herbs in them that are above the cheese? That's exactly what we're looking for, guys. Exactly. Now I'm going to take a bit of the hard cheese. The next cheese I'm using on the pie is the Manchego. I probably could have put just a little more sauce on this pizza. You can see these little burn spots here. Probably could have covered those with just a little bit more sauce than I did. That's just experience and practice. And you know what? No two pies are going to come out the same. But we are going for that perfection. So always be aware. Never settle. Never think you make a perfect pie. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and cut this up now. Again, because this is an 11.5-inch pizza. Or about 11 inches. I'm going to cut it into just 4s. I'm going to dollop on a little more olive oil on the back, just like I did on the margarita. And that guarantees that when I get to the end of the slice, I've got a new flavor, some oil that hasn't been overheated, it hasn't gone in the oven, it still has its freeness. And that's it. Let's give it a try. Fold it up. You can see the bottom came out great. The herbiness on this pie. I just got a nice burst of parsley in my mouth. So great.